Caleb, you guys have another opportunity to clinch this weekend. A simple way would just be with a win over DC, and be the first time since 2013 you've got that sorted out before the last day of the season. How important is it for you guys to get the job done and try to clinch this weekend?
Yeah, our mindset's been the same. I've been saying it every week. It's win the next game. So nothing's any different. Obviously, we didn't win the last game, but the mindset doesn't change and our approach doesn't change. You know, we knew we had the last two at home, and we've been very good at home. But we're focused on the next game, DC, and getting 3 points. And we know that leads into the last game, and there are some scenarios in that last game that, depending on how things go, where we could be the 1 or 2 seed, but that's irrelevant. You know, we got to win the next game.
In terms of finishing in a favorable seed, when you look at the goals for this team, how important is it to not just get into playoffs but put yourself in the best position possible?
Goal is to win a trophy, so obviously you want to finish as high as you can finish. Guys are well aware of that, and yet you can't win a trophy unless you get in the playoffs. Ideally, you want to get in the playoffs in the highest seed possible for obvious reasons, and that's our goal, to finish as high as possible. But number one, we need to get in.
And then can you give us an update on Audie and whether he will factor into this game?
No update on Audie.
So is he still the same, or?
No, he's better.
He is better?
Yeah, he's better.
So do you see him playing at some point? You see him playing at some point the rest of the season?
Yes.
Okay, good. Caleb, with 2 home games, given how you guys played, how great is it to be playing your last 2 games at home here?
Yeah, it's massive. We've always been very good at home. We're very good at home this year, and again, 4 wins in a row at home. That's a big reason we're in the position we're in. And to finish the last 2 games at home in front of our fans, we have the best fans in the league, and we know they'll be behind us. And we haven't had a lot of home games in the past several weeks, so I know they'll be wound up and louder than ever, and we need them behind us like they always are. And I know our players will feel, we'll feel their energy and fuel from that. And I can't wait to get back, on the pitch. I know the guys are buzzing and ready to stamp our ticket in the playoffs and set up that last game.
Your teams are always stronger at the end of the season. Has anything surprised you this time around?
No, I think we've been in good form. Obviously last game didn't fall our way, but we've been in very good form like usual at the end of the years, and training's been excellent the last several weeks. Obviously we didn't have a game on the weekend, but we had a very good training week last week. Energy was outstanding, and this week, the last 2 days, the guys, they can smell the postseason, and you see it in their intensity and the energy they have. But I know they're really looking forward to getting back on the pitch and getting 3 points and setting up that last game where hopefully that means something, and hopefully that means we avoid the knockout. But we can't control the other games. What we can control is winning the next 2, and really we can't control that. We can only control winning the next 1.
And you've had stretches where you play a bunch of games, then you get a little bit of break, and this part of the season's working out well for you, don't you think, in that regard?
Yeah, we obviously suffered through the summer with a lot of compacted windows, and because of that we had other teams had games in hand on us, but you can see those games in hand, and I said it, have evaporated, and we're in position. We just got to take care of business in these last two games, and I like the mindset of the group. We've been in a good form play-wise. We've had a good mentality. So really at this stage, it's about making sure that we're fresh and we put our best foot forward in the match. And it's not about doing much different. And a lot of people want it to be about doing different things. It's not. It's about doing what we've been doing and training the way we've been training and playing the way we've been playing. Obviously, we need to do some different things, better things from the last game, but as a team on a whole, we're doing the right things, and we just need to do them in this next game.
Without Adi in there, obviously other guys have had to step up for you guys to get the results that you've gotten. Who do you think has really had an impact in his absence over the last few games, and hopefully will over the next 2 games to finish out the season?
Well, we play like a team. You know, I've said that from day one. You know, our concept is a team concept. The way that we play, it's not one guy. It's our entire team, and every player in each role, they bring something different and important. But you know, because Valeri scores the goals doesn't mean that he's more important than the defenders who stop goals, or you know, holding mid who wins balls. You know, everybody's important in the way that we play, and it's 11 guys attacking and 11 guys defending. So what's good about that is when we lose a guy, and you've seen it, the overall team play and the performance and the results don't change a ton, you know, and that's great, you know, and that's one of the reasons we believe in playing the way that we play, you know, because it's about the team. And you know, Adi's been out a lot of games, and you know, when you lose a guy that you know scores a lot of goals for you, you need obviously the one player that goes in his place to continue to play well. So I think Maddox has done well. Bobasi off the bench and starting a few games has done well. But I think again everybody else has done what they do, and that's why we've continued to play well, losing Adi.
When you've got Darren up top, what dimension does he bring that maybe allows for something different from what Adi has up there? You know, do his runs open up, you know, more space for a guy like Diego Valeri? You know, how does he fit in that's maybe different from what you might see otherwise?
Well, our formation that the formation we use, 4-2-3-1. You know, I don't believe we need to change that, because ultimately there's a lot of flexibility in that formation with the personnel that you use, and with attacking rotations and defensive where we're trapping teams. One of the reasons I believe in that system is you can play it game in and game out, and you don't need to change it, and you can change it with the personnel. And it's why I like different number 9s. It's why I like different wingers, different holding mids, different outside backs, because that's how you change your team. You change it with the personnel. So with Darren, you know, the whole thought in having him here was that he brings more of a stretching guy. Similar, but different than, you know, but similar when we had Urruti. Urruti was more of a stretching guy, plays on the shoulders, and, you know, presses well. And, you know, when you start with an Adi and you bring in a Urruti, or you bring in a Maddox, it's a completely different game for the opponent to manage. And when you start Maddox over Adi, it's a completely different game. So Darren is a different player than Adi. We don't cookie cutter what we do when we have the same guys or different guys in. You know, so when Darren was in and Adi was out, we've tried to play to his strengths, and we've adopted, you know, a different, somewhat style of play when he's in that suits him. And he's the spearhead of our pressure. He's obviously going to stretch a lot. You know, he's not going to hold the ball like Adi, so we don't ask him to hold the ball like Adi. We don't ask him to play like Adi. We ask him to play like Darren, and then we adjust with some of our movement and attacking rotations in around the way that he plays.
You said that you or that you hope that Adi would be able to play in the later this season. What's from your side of things? What's his recovery looked like? Obviously, there's been setbacks, and you know, it can be hard to track for people looking from the outside. What's that been like for you guys?
What do you mean?
I guess what's the you know, we're always looking for a time frame from you. When's Adi going to be back? But I guess from your perspective, what's what's it been like seeing his recovery efforts despite the setbacks that he's had? Does that make sense?
No.
Fair
But I'll help you out because I like you and I'm a nice guy. Well, I think one of the reasons I'm being so vague today on Adi is because I've been specific on Adi based on the information that I've been given. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a trainer. So when an injury occurs, you're given a timeline, and there's a range in that timeline. But you know, then I come in here once a week, and you guys ask what's going on, and I tell you exactly what I've been told. But those timelines haven't been met for different reasons. So, you know, over the course of a year, I end up saying one thing, and then that doesn't happen. So it makes me look bad a little bit. But at the end of the day, I can only, you know, speak about what I know. And there have been a couple situations this year where guys' timelines, based on, you know, setbacks, based on, I would say, player recovery, because every player recovers different. That those haven't been met. So I don't want to tell you the rest of the year one thing and then that not happen. So I'm just not going to tell you anything. Sorry.
Looking forward to DC. What have you seen from them? What are you expecting this weekend?
Well, one thing I can tell you is Ben Olsen's going to have his team ready. Obviously, they're out of playoffs, but you know. And there are some teams and some coaches where that might impact, you know, their team, not DC and not Ben Olsen. He's a fighter, and his teams always fight for him. And, you know, I think in general the way they play, they always have a good spirit and good mentality. And, you know, it's going to be a battle. They're going to come and they're going to look to, you know, play spoiler, and they're going to want to be physical, and you know, they win a lot of individual duels. They're great on first and second balls, and you know, I think their setup will be simple. They won't want us to break them down. They'll look to hit us on counters. They'll hit us on set pieces. They'll, at times, play a bit direct, you know, when we press or if we press. And then it'll be about first and second balls, and it'll be a 90-minute war.
Over in the Eastern Conference, you know, who's in the playoffs and who's not is set. In the West, there's still a lot of potential for change there. Do you think it's, but despite that, you've got teams like DC who are looking to play the spoiler. Do you think that's a function of how tight the league is just every year?
I think it's every year's different. You know, last 4 years leading up to this year, it was the last game, you know, where things were decided, and that was both conferences. This year it's been a bit different in that I don't think there's been a year since I've been in the league where every team in a conference is completely set before the last two games. That's just kind of the way that it's shaken out this year, with the East winning more games against the West, and in the years prior it was the opposite. So a lot of parity in the West. I wouldn't sleep on the West because there's a lot of good teams in the West, and a lot of capable teams. And you know, I think the football in the East is good, but I think a lot of these teams also play pretty open in the East. And when you get in the, you know, knockout games and you get in a multi-leg series, you know, some of the teams in the West are going to be very difficult to knock off in a multi-leg series, and it'll mean really tight games. Again, we can't worry about that yet. We're not in the playoffs yet. We need to win the next game.